Most people will watch something like this and nothing will change for them. Not because they lack intelligence, not because they didn't understand a single word, but because understanding is never the problem. The real barrier is something far deeper, something almost invisible. It is the comfort of staying exactly who you are. There is a strange safety in repetition. A version of you already exists that your mind has rehearsed for years. The way you react, the way you excuse yourself, the way you delay action, the way you explain your situation to yourself in silence, all of it feels familiar. And familiarity is powerful enough to keep a person trapped for an entire lifetime without them ever realizing they are stuck. You were taught that change means improvement, that if you simply try harder, stay consistent, build better habits, think positive thoughts, eventually you will become something different. But what if the foundation itself is the problem? What if the structure underneath your behavior is what keeps recreating the same results over and over again? There is a way of thinking that does not focus on improvement. It focuses on replacement. Not upgrading who you are, but questioning whether that version of you should continue to exist at all. Because if the core pattern remains untouched, every improvement built on top of it eventually collapses back into the same cycle. Most people are not stuck because life is stopping them. They are stuck because their internal programming is predictable. The way they interpret situations, the way they respond to pressure, the way they justify delay, all of it follows a script written long ago. Family, environment, past failures, social conditioning. Over time, these experiences do not just influence you, they define your reactions before you are even aware a decision is being made. And that is the part nobody wants to confront. You like to believe you are choosing freely, but in reality, most choices are echoes of previous behavior. The same emotional responses, just wearing different faces. You get angry in the same pattern. You doubt yourself in the same rhythm. You quit in the same familiar moment where discomfort begins to rise. And every time it happens, your mind tries to comfort you with a lie. This is just who you are. But identity is not a truth. It is a repetition. And anything built through repetition can be broken through interruption. The moment you start seeing yourself as a system instead of a personality, something shifts. You stop asking what kind of person you are and start asking what pattern is running you. Because if a pattern exists, it can be interrupted. If it can be interrupted, it can be replaced. And if it can be replaced, then nothing about you is permanent except your willingness to stay the same. There is no transformation without destruction of the previous version. That is the part most people resist. They want evolution without loss, progress without discomfort, change without identity collapse. But that is not how structure works. Something must end for something new to take its place. And the first thing that must end is the belief that your past has authority over your future. Your history is not a command. It is information, nothing more. The moment you stop treating your past as a prediction and start treating it as raw material, you take control back. You stop negotiating with your limitations. You stop asking permission from your old habits. You stop delaying action until you feel ready. Instead, you act in opposition to the familiar pattern simply to prove that it no longer governs you. At first, this feels unnatural because anything outside your pattern will feel like resistance. But resistance is not a sign to stop. It is proof that something inside you is losing control. And that loss of internal control is where real change begins. Most people remain trapped because they keep reinforcing the same identity through language. They say things like, "I am not that type of person," or "I always fail at this," or "This is just how I am." Every time you speak like this, you are not describing reality. You are reinforcing a script. And scripts are dangerous because they remove decision-making. Once the script is accepted, behavior becomes automatic. People around you begin to anticipate you. They know your reactions. They know your emotional thresholds. They know what triggers your compliance, your anger, your withdrawal. At that point, you are no longer unpredictable. And unpredictability is the beginning of personal power. Because when you are predictable, you are manageable. And when you are manageable, you are controlled without force. Rarely does control look like domination. It looks like familiarity. It looks like people knowing exactly how you will respond before you respond. It looks like emotional patterns so consistent that others can guide outcomes simply by pressing the same psychological points. To break that, you have to stop performing yourself. Every environment assigns roles: the quiet one, the funny one, the reliable one, the emotional one, the weak one, the leader, the follower. And without realizing it, people slowly adjust themselves to match the expectation placed on them, not because they are forced, but because they want acceptance.
This is how identity becomes external. You stop acting from internal direction and start acting from social expectation. You become a reflection of how others define you. And the moment you accept a role, even silently, your freedom begins to shrink. Because roles come with limits. They come with invisible boundaries. If you are the nice one, you avoid conflict. If you are the weak one, you avoid challenge. If you are the funny one, you avoid seriousness. Over time, you begin to protect the role more than you protect yourself. But the moment you refuse the role, everything around you becomes uncertain. People no longer know how to position you. Their predictions fail. Their expectations collapse. And in that space of uncertainty, you regain control of your image. Not by becoming extreme, but by becoming ungraspable. You stop reacting instantly. You pause where you used to respond. You stay silent where you used to explain. You withdraw where you used to overextend. You do not do this to confuse others. You do it to remove automatic control over your behavior. Because silence creates space, and space creates power. At the same time, most people weaken themselves in another way without noticing. They broadcast their intentions too early. The moment an idea appears in their mind, they speak it, share it, announce it, or post it. It feels like motivation. It feels like progress. But in reality, it is premature release of energy. When you speak about something before it is built, part of your mind begins to believe it is already partially done. The urgency decreases, the pressure reduces, and execution becomes less intense. Even worse, you expose your direction to external influence. Opinions enter, doubt enters, judgment enters. Not all of it is supportive, and suddenly your focus is divided between building and defending. A focused mind builds in silence not because it is secretive, but because it understands that attention is a limited resource. Every unnecessary conversation about your goals is a leak in your execution. There is also a deeper layer. The less people know about your direction, the less they can interfere with it. And interference is often more dangerous than opposition. Opposition at least shows itself. Interference hides behind advice, concern, or casual opinion. So you learn to move quietly, not to hide, but to protect momentum. And in that quietness, something interesting happens. Your actions become more honest. Without an audience, you stop performing effort. You stop choosing what looks impressive. You start choosing what actually works. That is where real discipline forms. Because discipline that depends on being seen is not discipline, it is performance. True transformation happens when nobody is watching, when there is no validation, no reward, no applause, only repetition, only internal standards, only the agreement you make with yourself in silence. Most people cannot survive that environment because there is no external fuel, no applause to continue, no recognition to validate progress, only the raw confrontation with their own consistency. And that is exactly why it works. Because what survives in silence becomes unbreakable in public. As you continue, you begin to realize something deeper about life itself. Most people are not reacting to reality. They are reacting to systems they never examined. Repeating cycles disguised as decisions, patterns disguised as personality, predictable outcomes disguised as fate. But once you see systems, you stop reacting to events and start analyzing structure. You no longer ask what happened, you ask what produced it. And that shift changes everything. Because events are temporary, but systems repeat. This way of thinking removes emotional chaos. It removes impulsive reactions. It turns confusion into clarity. You begin to see behavior as output, not identity. Success is not luck. Failure is not destiny. Both are results of structure. And when you understand structure, you stop being controlled by surface-level emotion. At the same time, you begin to understand another principle. Access is power. Not everyone deserves unlimited access to your attention, your energy, or your presence. Every interruption carries a cost. Every unnecessary conversation pulls your mind out of direction. Every distraction fragments your focus. When access is uncontrolled, life becomes reactive. When access is controlled, life becomes intentional. So you start to filter, not loudly, not dramatically, quietly. You become selective with communication, selective with engagement, selective with presence. And over time, your environment naturally adjusts to your standards.
Some people disappear. Some distance themselves. Some no longer fit your direction. And what remains is alignment. Finally, you begin to notice something subtle but powerful. The less emotionally readable you become, the less controllable you become. When your reactions are predictable, others can influence your state easily. But when your emotional expression is measured, delayed, or controlled, the pattern breaks. People can no longer rely on visible signals to guide their behavior toward you. You stop leaking information through emotion. Not by becoming emotionless, but by becoming deliberate. You feel things, but you do not immediately reveal them. You process before expressing. You observe before reacting. You choose response instead of impulse. That small gap between stimulus and reaction is where control is born. And once you live inside that gap long enough, you start to realize something simple but unsettling. You were never lacking power. You were just giving it away through reaction, through explanation, through attachment, through visibility, through predictability. And the moment you stop giving it away, you do not become someone new. You become someone unrecognizable to your old self. Because the version of you that depended on approval, that reacted instantly, that explained everything, that followed patterns without question, that version was never you. It was a system you learned. And anything learned can be unlearned. Now the only real question is not whether change is possible. The question is whether you are willing to stop defending the version of you that is keeping you exactly where you are. Because the moment you stop protecting it, it stops existing.